Absolutely, Ajay. Of course, Pakistan clearly violating ceasefire there. Continuous shelling, of course, being reported from those particular spots along the LOC. India, though, retaliating effectively to, of course, Pakistan's firing and Pakistan's attempts to escalate the situation. Now, if you talk about Jammu, of course, the threat has of course, passed for now. Has that blackout ended, or is it in place just for caution? What is the latest situation in Jammu that you can share with us, Ajay?
Rishabh, see this, the area where
Of course, if we talk about the LOC, Pakistan not letting up there too. They are, of course, they were resorting to firing missiles and drones, all unsuccessfully, of course, across the border, as we saw earlier. Now this heavy shelling, though, continuing. That's something that they are not letting up on. What are they attempting through that, Major General Bansal, even as now India continues to evacuate those villages which are very close to the border?
I think, I feel that what they are feeling now, thinking that their capability to strike by missiles and drone in the remote area is not successful. Now, maybe, as you know, they have prepared for this intense war, what they call, because when the intense war is a kind of thing when they are having the number of the capability is less, then they try to force immediately, and that's what they were saying, that for the intense war they have got the only ammunition for about 96 hours. So that they must be now focusing and concentrating on that area, just because all tactics, and then they find what is the vulnerable area, and most vulnerable area is being hit. So maybe they are having strength on that side, and they are trying to advance because they could not succeed by the drones or the missiles which had been neutralized by our air defense system. So that may be the reason. Back to you, sir.
All right. So these, of course, are the big updates coming in, even as, of course, we do know that the NOTAM also now being issued to 24 airports across India. Various airports, of course, being issued this NOTAM. Meanwhile, security has also been beefed up across the country. That is why various airlines now are sending messages to their passengers to reach earlier because of heightened security protocol. We as a nation, Sumit Peer, are not, complacent at all. This is a time, of course, to preempt Pakistan. We are, of course, foiling every attempt by them to attack India, to target us. However, we cannot be complacent. That is something that cannot set in, which is why these heightened security protocol, which is why, measures like evacuating those villages close to the border, measures like shutting schools which are close to the border, measures like these blackouts which are in place as abundant caution in particularly those districts which are sensitive, are all needed currently, isn't it, Sumit?
We are doing a fantastic job as a country. If I'm looking at the various footages which are coming in social media through friends and contacts and sources, I mean, I don't know how much can we show on the TV or not, but the kind of images I'm seeing, my hats off. I salute the armed forces of India. I'm seeing them coming like those pests and flies, and we are dismantling each and everybody of them. So far, we've done a fantastic job. Our preparation has been very apt. I mean, whenever we see a threat, we are imposing grade level blackouts. But, Pakistanis cannot attack every nook and corner of India because India is a very big country. Wherever they can attack, we are taking all due precautions and care. But it is the onus of the other parts of the country and our all nationals, our all citizens to make sure their engineered designs of Pakistan through some nefarious elements, antisocial elements, and something like are not met. So that's why there's a heightened, protocol. You have to reach 3 hours early in the airport. You have to do certain amount of precautions, what we are doing, while you are doing that. It is very, very important that we are not complacent, because enemy may not only attack from, across the border. There might be something which can be fomented within the India, which can be started within the India. And at times you have seen it is much easier to start the trouble within. एक हिंदी में कहावत है ना उदय जी, किले का दरवाजा अंदर से खुलता है, बाहर से कभी नहीं खुलता. So we have to be careful of that aspect of it so that it doesn't become that thing. So being very alert is the thing. I might not think that I'm in Chennai to bahut dur hai, or I'm in Kozhikode is too far away. No, you don't know what is in the mind of ISI. You don't know what is in the mind of Pakistani army. When it comes to borders, Indian army and Indian forces are good enough to handle them, and they're doing a fantastic job. I think much better than anywhere we have seen in the world. But what about other elements or other possibilities which are there? So complacence is like opening a window for them to act. If we are not complacent, if we are on the guard, it doesn't matter how far you live from the border. We have to be on the vigil, we have to be on the guard, and time has come when we have to really, because what we are hearing from right and left today, the time has come, we have to be very, we have to start getting into these blood donation campaigns, and we have to see what all and how all can we help our nation, can I help our civil services, civil forces, civil defenses, and help the Indian army. So it is not only their war, it is also my war, it is also your war, and I cannot get a gun and go to the border, but whatever I can do at my level and whatever millions of people watching this broadcast.
All right, we're getting some more developments now coming in this hour. Routine security check is underway at India Gate. These are inputs coming in from the national capital. Routine security check is underway at India Gate. Remember, of course, obviously security at prominent locations, prominent tourist spots will be stepped up, and that is what is being done currently at India Gate in the national capital as well. Obviously, this is something that will be done at various other, tourist hotspots across the country. Presumably, Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor, as India, of course, sheds all complacency, India on a state of heightened alert, India, not letting our guard down at all, even though we are combating Pakistan's devious designs robustly. We're combating every move by the Pakistan army to escalate, with amazing alacrity. However, we are not letting our guard down, and that is important at this juncture.
Well, absolutely, Uday, and I absolutely agree with whatever the other panelists have said, including Sumit, that this is not just a war for the army and the armed forces to fight at the border. This is a war for every Bharatiya all over India and all over the world to realize it is their war. So if all the citizens, if 1.5 billion people in India and the other Indians all over the world start doing whatever they can do in their own way, wherever they are, to make a noise, to write pieces, to write on the social media, to come out on the streets in India in support of the government, to come out on the streets of India in support of the army and the armed forces and say that we are with you. We are absolutely solidly behind you. We will do whatever it takes to support you. So that is the sort of message which needs to go. And if they say that we are against terrorism and we are against terrorists in any shape or form and protest against the terrorists en masse, that message will reverberate very strongly and will make the morale of the armed forces very high. It will make the government much stronger in dealing with it in terms of taking the message across to the world. So I think it is high time for all the citizens to get together, for all the people to get together and not only be alert, be absolutely sort of with a heightened sense of alertness and have no complacency, but also be proactive in seeing how they can support, how they can contribute to the whole, security of the country. Like I just told earlier in the same broadcast, that every citizen has to understand that if they see something suspicious, they have to say it immediately. They have to say something. And those numbers have to be very widely circulated so that everybody knows that these are the numbers on which you call. These are the text numbers on which you can send messages. So, or emails. So that sort of messaging also has to start in a very big way along with the civil defense exercises. Uday.
Absolutely. We are, of course, waiting and watching, of course, the situation. We are also, of course, getting news through our sources that came in a short while back, Major General Bansal, that there has been an attack or explosions reported from Lahore. Of course, official confirmation of that still hasn't come in. Similar reports coming in from a couple of other Pakistani cities as well. We will have to wait and watch as to what those details are, whether that is immediate retaliation for what Pakistan did today, which was unprovoked, and of course a complete escalation from their side. So naturally, there will be retaliation for them, but we have to, of course, wait and watch what the situation there is. But currently, Lahore very vulnerable, isn't it, Major General Bansal? given the fact that
Definitely, Lahore is much.
yes, that is key right now to underline that Lahore is very vulnerable given what happened today with their air defense system.
Definitely, that's what has been since morning. That yes, their air defense system has been smashed and it's completely does not have any kind of defense. And this thing has not been realized by the armed forces of Pakistan that once they are vulnerable and in that situation they attack. Now these days, of course, the offense, they say offense is best defense, but at the same time, world over, if you see that one need the protection. Even when Israel was preparing to attack Pakistan, this Iran at that time, they were first preparing, getting third air defense system and their air defense system to be strengthened. So that is very, very important. This is the foolishness of the part of Pakistan army that without any particular, without defense, and they came for the offense. They are on the suicidal mission, and I'm very sure that they will just their system will be get destroyed very quickly. And that is the only way, because they will not listen to anybody, and nobody is going to advise them. They say China or any other country, they are not going to. And these days, every country, they don't listen to anybody. They go by their own instinct, whatever they are having. Now, once the Munir thinking that it is in his interest and this fought, he will keep on fighting. He will sacrifice the whole country for his particular benefit. That is what is going to be. So very rightly you have said that yes, there are blasts and there may be damage, which of course slowly will come out, and maybe some cameras and photographs will receive very soon. And as has been told by Ambassador Pradeep, that definitely the country is to be sensitized. But I have seen during 1962, 65, 71 war, there's a sentiment and completely everybody is with the armed forces. They are ready to offer anything. Even the ladies, they offer their jewelry and whatnot for the country. But only thing, it has to be in an organized manner, and internal security is very, very important, because at this point of time when our armed forces on the border, the internal security is to be managed, because you never know. There are so many sleeper cells in the country, and they may get activated by ISI, and ISI is all over now. They have reached even to the Bangladesh side. So that has to be kept in mind, not only focusing on the border, which our armed forces is taking care of, but within the country, every countryman has to take care of it. And I fully agree with Ambassador Pradeep that it is not the armed forces, the whole country, whole nation goes to the war, and the participations in all forms, whatever could be, this cooperation and support can be given. The whole country must do in an organized manner with a very
Sumit, as a civilian, I think you also must underline for other civilians also watching the broadcast how important it is at this juncture for citizens, particularly of course those who live close to the border, but others as well, in the country, across the country, to sensitize themselves with the do's and don'ts during blackouts and the do's and don'ts during the air sirens as well. What the different types of sirens are, what to do during these blackouts, because it is not any mock exercise anymore. It is a reality now that the conflict, of course, is on with Pakistan. Blackouts are happening as we speak. Jammu we saw earlier, Firozpur, Jaisalmer, many other parts of the country, which is why it's very important for viewers watching, Sumit, isn't it, to immediately acquaint themselves with the procedures.
I think, Uday, if I can be candid and direct, we are at war with Pakistan. Let's not be naive about it. Let's talk direct. And Pakistan is a radicalized society wherein they hate our existence. They hate anything and everything about us. They have made it a religious kind of a war. And when the wars take that connotation, they become much more dangerous. What I've been trying to say, it is everybody's war. We have to know our basic, civil defense tactics. We have to know how to manage various things. We have to know how to manage emergency, because, Pakistan has missiles which has the range of around 2,500 kilometers. Broadly speaking, I'm not trying to scare people, but broadly speaking, with that kind of a range, everything pretty much within India is in the hitting range. So if I assume I'm in, let's say, very far flung, it's not like that. It can reach pretty much near to you. So you have to take the situation seriously. You have to know what are those civil defense drills. Have that one kind of a bag where you have everything. There are a lot of things which there are a lot of videos, there's a lot of stuff available in the internet, what government has told us to do. But God forbid if there's a situation, how do we handle it? I mean, keeping some amount of cash, keeping your cars filled, not panicking, having a flashlight. There's some basics which you need to have, first aid kit and all. These are the basic things which we need to do. We have to be all prepared for bullet donation. We have to be all prepared to help army, our administration to do whatever we can. We have to stand united, and we have to make sure those anti-social elements and what Sergei Vipin Rawatji used to call point 0.5. That point 0.5 is not activated. That point 0.5 will be activated somewhere down the line by Pakistan and ISI. We have to be prepared to fight that. We can only fight that when we are united. And what General Sahab was rightly saying and Kapoor Sahab was rightly saying, you have to be vigilant. You can't leave it everything to Modi. Modi dekhega. It's not everybody to Modi and Chauhan Sahab dekhenge. He's a CDS. No, you, me, and everybody has to contribute. We have to be their eyes and ears. It is our Rashtriya Daitva. It is our national duty to be vigilant and to contribute in whatever way we can. The best thing we can do is awareness is the key. You must be aware. It doesn't matter where do you live, how far you are from the border. You must be aware. You must keep yourself updated, and you must make other people aware and sensitivity of the situation. Awareness does not mean panic, does not mean paranoia, but awareness definitely means concern and means if there's a push comes to shove, if there's an eventuality, how we are going to defend ourselves and how we are going to save ourselves, because country needs this, and we have to show to the world that it is not a war of Indian army only. It's a war of 1.45 billion people which are solidly behind the Indian army, and we together will defeat the terror and the Islamic terror which is emanating from Pakistani army. Today it's not Hafiz Syed or Maulana Masood Azhar or whatever. It is the biggest Maulana of Pakistan, who was head of ISI, who was head of military intelligence, and Udayji, he's the person who was the architect of Pulwama. It is the time we have to settle the butcher of Pulwama, if I can be asked direct, candid and direct, and all his terror proxies. We, unless and until we settle the chief architect of Pulwama, I think it's an unfinished agenda. ये दिल पे बोझ है, इसको उतारना पड़ेगा. We have to settle this for good, and Mahadev will not give you a better time than this. This is the time what we have got. They have violated the red line. We have not violated the red line. They have tried to kill our civilians. They have tried to dismantle our military structures. Now it is the time for them.
Absolutely. And what was Pakistan thinking? For what reasons were they trying to escalate this conflict? What were they trying to do? Ambassador Kapoor, India was avenging Pahalgam, which is why we targeted terror camps. Were they trying to avenge terror camps being wiped out? Were they trying to stand up for terrorists being neutralized? Haven't they exposed themselves through these moves by Pakistan? Of course, they've made a laughing stock of themselves through, of course, their every step being foiled, as we've seen in the last 48 hours. But do you believe that they've again exposed the fact that Pakistan is a terror state? It's there for the world to see. They have stood up to avenge terrorists.
Yes, Uday, you're absolutely right. And the US ambassador, just a short while back, the Indian ambassador to the US, Vinay Mohan Kwatra, who was earlier the foreign secretary, has just now made a statement that the war which India is fighting is against terrorists. And they are simply defending the terrorists. So they are exposing themselves in the whole world stage. And what is required as we go along is what we have also, and probably a little more of the defense technology, which will make us even more successful in the future in combating such challenges. Because when we were talking to some senators yesterday, they were saying that the US has, for example, some border protection technology, which plugs the border very well. And, any sort of intrusion which is going to happen anywhere is immediately highlighted, and there are alerts which go off. So something which happened in Pahalgam, for example. So those sort of technologies we have also to move into the next phase to getting. And also we have seen how technology has helped Israel in a very big way, the defense technology, the weapon technology. So some of it may be available to India. Some of it India may need to procure for the future. But currently, whatever we have to use it in a very good way so that this entire state of terror, of terroristan as it is Pakistan, has to be dismantled in a way that it cannot stand up again, supporting terror in India or anywhere in the world. Baluchistan has to also be supported very openly now, very strongly by India, by supplying of weapons, by supplying of any support that they need, and any other people who want to fight against this terror, army of Pakistan has to be supported very, very firmly and strongly. It is a good time for India to launch on that also and to announce that sort of support, because now is the time to say that we absolutely oppose terror and in any shape and form, including that of the Pakistani army. Uday.
Yes, General Bansal, let me quickly now draw you back onto those three targets, those three military bases which were targeted earlier this evening by Pakistan, all unsuccessfully as well, might I add. The fact is that all those missiles, drones were intercepted, foiled, neutralized immediately, thanks to, of course, our alert missile system, anti-missile system, and also, of course, thanks to the alacrity shown by our forces, might I add. We are, really indebted to them and to you, of course, as you've served in the forces as well as a nation. But just let me ask you about why you believe Pakistan decided to choose Jammu, Udhampur, and Pathankot in this attempted attack today.
I would like to tell one thing here, that though there was an impatient nation to respond very quickly, but we have taken time. Our armed forces were preparing to all eventuality. So when there is a fight or when there is a war, there may be sometimes in some particular area somebody is making more advance, and in some area there is some resistances to be created. As I told you earlier also, when there was after this Pahalgam attack, the complete forces were mobilized from western border of Balochistan and all to the POK by Pakistan. They were always worried that our aim will be to take over POK, to save POK. They have focused mainly, and that is why their other area, other cities, with any other cities is not that much protected. So they have focused and concentrated on that. And I am sure that our armed forces also accordingly would have matched this. But what I was told at the time, nearly more than 2 lakhs troops has been mobilized to POK area. And definitely we would have matched about that. But we are taking in toto everything that yes, it has to be all the areas to be protected, whether it is Jammu and Kashmir, whether it's Punjab, whether it is the area on that side, Jaisalmer, or down up to down. So that may be the one reason what I feel could be the possibility.
Okay,
but I assure you,
yes.
I assure you that our armed forces has planned in a very meticulous manner, and these days this basically the missiles, drone, and air defense system we have got, and we that hammer, scalp, and all the drones we bought and we purchased from Israel. That we have got all the sophisticated and well advanced military system. We are producing our own, and some of these weapons are produced in India in collaboration with these countries. So we are well equipped with the modern weapons. Back to you.
Absolutely. Let me quickly draw in another special guest joining us now on the broadcast, Lieutenant General Raj Shukla.